Did you know that there are 4 different fluids inside your Chevrolet Cruze that should be checked every week or every 250 miles, whichever happens first? Everyone knows about your engine oil, but there's also your engine coolant, your brake and clutch fluid, and your windshield washer fluid. Today I'm going to show you where each one of those fluids are located, how to check those out, and what to do if one of those levels aren't correct. Let's jump inside. The first fluid that we're going to look at is the one that everyone's familiar with. We're going to check out our oil. So this is your oil filler cap, and this is your oil dipstick right here. So the way you want to check your oil, first make sure that your engine is cold, it's sitting on a flat surface. So we're going to lift out the stick, go ahead and grab that with a cloth or a paper towel and get it nice and clean. A couple of features here that I want to look at the bottom of the dipstick. You can see that hashed area there. The bottom of the hashed area is where you're empty, and this is where you're full. You really want to be somewhere inside this hashed area. It's important to note that in this hashed area here, from the one dot to the next dot, that's about 1 quart of oil. So if you're all the way down here at the bottom, take you about 1 quart to get filled back up to the top. If you're halfway up, about 1/2 quart to get you up to the top. You can do the math on the rest of that. So once you've cleaned off your dipstick, you'll go ahead and dip it back in. Let's take a reading. Now this time, instead of wiping it off, let's take it out and take a look. And you can see that we've got plenty of oil there, so nothing to add. If you did need to add oil, it's important to note, you want to make sure that you wipe off around your cap here before you take it off. What you don't want to have happen is some dust or debris to fall down inside here. It could do damage to your engine. You'll also notice right here on the top of the cap, it tells you what kind of oil you need, so you know what you're looking for when you go to pick up your oil. The next fluid that we're going to check is our engine coolant. So as with the oil, you want to make sure that your engine is cold and you're sitting on a flat surface. It's especially important to make sure that your engine is cold before you take this off. If there's pressure backed up in the system because the coolant is hot, then it might have steam built up in there, and what can happen is that steam will blow off. And just like you see the warning here on the cap, you can burn your hands. So make sure that your engine's cold before you mess with this one. You'll notice right here on the side, there's an arrow that points up to a line. That line there is your full line. Whenever the engine is cold, that's where you want your coolant to be up to. So in this case, our engine coolant level is fine, so we're not going to add anything there. If you do need to add coolant to your engine, you just want to make sure that you add the correct coolant. The best way to do that is to look inside the owner's manual for it. If you don't have that anymore, you can do a quick Google search and find out what you need. I'll also put some information in the description that should help you out with that. All right, so let's go ahead and put that cap back on. Now right here besides your coolant, you have your clutch and brake fluid. So just like with all the others, make sure your cap is clean before you pull it off. Now right over here on the side of your clutch and brake fluid reservoir, you see the minimum and maximum lines. So you look inside, and you can see we're nice and filled above that minimum line, below the maximum line. I will point out that that is some dark fluid and should be changed fairly soon. Right, let's go ahead and put the cap back on that. If we did happen to be low, as you'll notice right here on the cap, it specifies, be sure that you use .3 fluid to fill that back up. The last thing that we're going to check is right here on the driver's side up towards your headlight is your windshield washer fluid. You just visually inspect, see that it's not all the way filled to the top. You can fill that up with windshield washer fluid, you can fill it up with water. It doesn't have to be necessarily anything expensive. In the winter months, you don't want to put water in there because it could freeze, expand, and possibly damage your system. Now, just as a quick recap, there are 4 fluids that you want to make sure that you check on your engine every week to make it last as long as possible. First off, we're going to make sure that we've got our engine oil filled up to where it needs to be. Here's our dipstick, here's our filler cap. We're going to come right over here. We've got our engine coolant. If that's hot, do not open it. You will hurt yourself. If you need to fill it up, make sure that you use the correct coolant for your engine. Right beside that, you've got your brake and clutch fluid. If you need to fill that up, make sure you're using .3 fluid. And then right up here, we've got our windshield washer fluid. If you want to make your engine last as long as possible, keep up with those every week, and that will help you achieve that goal. If this video has helped you out, I would really appreciate a like, subscribe, comment, all those things really helps out the channel. Thanks a lot for watching.